friends. Welcome to our craft lesson on Job. Now, Job had a lot of terrible things happen to him. It was almost as if a dark cloud was over his head. And so, we're going to be making a cloud today with some words that Job said raining down from the cloud. And the nice thing is, there's a nightlight in there that can remind you that even when things seem sad and depressing and things aren't going your way, like this fella here, God is always with us. So let's get started. Hi friends, let's see what's in our bag this week. Actually, we have 2 bags this week, but we'll get to this one in a minute. But in our main bag, we have a piece of newspaper. That's going to serve 2 purposes this week. We have a paper plate, some glue, some raindrops, a paper lantern, and a baggie full of materials. All right, let's get started. All right. What we're using for the base of our cloud is a paper lantern. So you've got one that's wrapped up in plastic. I've pulled mine out. It even comes with some instructions if you need to know how to get this assembled, because right now it's a little flat. But what you do with a paper lantern is you separate it, give it a little tug till it makes that beautiful sphere. Then we're going to take this piece of metal, and I'm going to, let me see if I can remember how to do this, feed the smaller end down in the hole, push, 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 push. Now, as we don't want to break our paper, so if you can kind of bend the metal insert, let's see if I can do this where you can see it, and raise. There we go. I bent it just a little bit until the raised section, let me see if I can pull that away. These 2 little raised sections pop through these little metal holes. So again, on this side, I'm going to bend it, push it down just a little bit. Miss Leigh, your fingers are too big. Yes, they are. Let's see if I can get this without ripping it. There it goes. Oh, well, I ripped it a little bit, but guess what? That's okay. Oh, and that one popped off. Okay, now it has form and structure. Yay! All right, I've laid down my newspaper here because this is going to get a little bit messy. We're going to do some gluing of the contents of our second bag today. This is polyfill fiber. And this is not as easy as it looks, so you're going to have to be a little patient with it. But what we're going to do is open your little supply bag, and inside you've got, among other things, a foam brush. We're going to brush the glue on our paper lantern and then try to get the polyfill to stick to it. So I've given you a paper plate. I'm going to just go on and open up my glue and dump a nice big splotch of glue onto my paper plate. And this is one reason why you have a piece of newspaper down underneath you, because this is going to get a little bit messy. I'm going to wet my brush with the glue and then do about half of my lantern, cover it with glue. Down to the equator, maybe, thinking this is like a globe. Woo, this is messy fun. Now, all right. Got a lot of glue on there. I'm going to take relatively small clumps of my polyfill. It's tempting to grab a great big chunk, but I think you're going to have better luck if you use the smaller ones and just kind of fill in holes as you work your way around the area that you've applied the glue to. So check back with me in a minute and we'll work on the other half. So I've got the bottom hemisphere of my lantern pretty much covered. It's not to say I'm not going to go back and fill in some holes in a few minutes. Again, I'm going to put a generous amount of glue on this upper half of our sphere. You can already see some areas where it's starting to fall off. Oh no! And I'm going to finish up this half and then we'll go back and fill in any gaping holes that we've got. So check back in a second. Okay, I think I've got my paper lantern pretty well covered. If you see any holes, ugh, what a mess. You know, just stick a little more glue on there, poke in a little fiber fill. That looks pretty good. Now, something that I found that helps this polyfill adhere to your glue is take this newspaper that you've been working on top of and kind of give it a pull like you're wrapping a present around the outside of your sphere. And that way it's pressing the fiber fill down onto the glue. Now it also means your glue is going to dry a little bit slower. So if you've got an extra day to do this craft, that might help if you could just sort of let it sit overnight. But all I've done there is just kind of snugly wrapped the newspaper around my lantern. So we've got another step we can be doing now while this dries. While our cloud is drying, let's cut out these 3 raindrops. Because from every cloud, a little rain will probably fall, right? Bad things are going to happen to us and good things are going to happen to us. So I've already poked a hole in each of your raindrops. I only stabbed myself one time in the process. And what we're going to do once you've cut out all 3, and look at that, got it on the front and the back, we're going to put a little piece of fishing line through this hole and tie it to the cloud. Now, fishing line is very, very clear and very, very thin, so the fish can't see it. I've included 4 pieces of fishing line in your little wax bag. One of them is very long, and the really long one you can use to tie your cloud to the ceiling. I know it's probably hard for you to see this, but that's my long one. I'm going to set it aside. And then I've got 3 smaller ones for the raindrops. So I'm going to tie one, and I'm not sure you can see my hands here, but I'm tying one here, tie a little knot on there. One is done. Okay, so there's that one. I'm going to cut off the excess. So even though it's invisible, and then I'm going to do the same thing for my other 2 raindrops. Okay, I've got fishing wire attached to all 3 of my raindrops. And this is the order they actually go in. The Lord gave, and the Lord has taken away. May the name of the Lord be praised. And that is what Job is known to have said, and it's recorded in the book of Job. And so if you can, hang your raindrops in this order. So I've got them all tied up. Let's open up our newspaper and start attaching things. Now mine is not quite dry yet, so you may. Now we're going to tie the raindrops to this end of our cloud. On the other end, you can see we've got a little hook here. That's going to be not only for tying your string that's going to ascend up to the ceiling, it's also going to hold the light that we're going to be putting in there. So put that side down for a moment, and we're going to work on the underside and tie on all 3 of our raindrops. So I'm going to start with this one. I'm going to tie them at different lengths so they'll seem like they're coming down out of the cloud. Just a simple knot, and then you can cut off a little bit of the excess. There's the Lord gave. Here's and the Lord takes away. So check back with me in a second and I'll have all these tied up for us. All right, I've got my 3 raindrops attached. Now, the fun part is attaching the light bulb on the hook that's at the top of your cloud. Now, these are simply turned on and off by twisting, but there's a little secret before you can get it to work. Can you see this little tab of paper that's there? Right there. What we're going to do is just gently pull on that, give it a tug, and it will pop out. And now, when you twist the top and bottom, the light comes on. It has a little hook at the top that should fit right down around that little metal piece and light up your cloud. To remind you that even though it may be raining on your head, there's some light. God is with us. The only thing that's left to do now is take our one long piece of fishing wire and tie it on the top, and find a place in your house that you would like to stick this up. It's fairly lightweight, so you can probably even get away with using a piece of tape to suspend it from the ceiling. I hope you've enjoyed doing this craft today, and I hope it reminds you of Job and the rough things that he went through in his life, and yet he still remained faithful to God because he knew his Redeemer lived. Join us next week, and we'll see you then. Bye.